We're on track to hit our historical high of debt to GDP ratio.
What we don't have is any spending control, and shame on both parties. We've got to get government spending down.
This is certainly not in the interests of the American people.
The outlook is dire and it will have consequences.
You're always hearing talk about the national debt. In the media, news, you name it. But how exactly is this issue relevant to us Americans? $23 trillion. That is exactly how much we're in debt right now, and this amount is still rising. You're probably thinking, this is how much we owe China. Well, it's not. This is what we owe them and the American people, along with other countries. As you can see, one of the biggest holders of the national debt is us Americans. But how did this come to be? Well, the answer to that lies in the entitlements that the US has promised to its own people, aka our retirement money. There are simply more people that the government owes retirement money to nowadays, putting more and more pressure on the federal budget. The main reason why the numbers are so high today than they were before is mainly due to the baby boomer generation becoming old and needing these funds. The baby boomer population consists of over 76 million people in the United States. Today, the average lifespan is much longer, the average being 79 years.
Our entitlement programs are not good programs. The Social Security program, under current law, will impose a 25% across-the-board cut in retirement benefits to people in a little over a decade. That's a terrible pension program. We deserve a better Social Security program, and that can be done while addressing the fact that it's right now running red ink of about $40 billion a year, and that will rise. Similar stories can be told about Medicare, Medicaid, and our other entitlements. We need better programs.
However, birth rates have been decreasing in the US. Now, this would help the government by having less people to pay entitlements to, but this also means fewer working people in the workforce and thus less money going into the economy. With the increasing debt, there's less to invest in the country to provide for common necessities, not just in entitlements, but for infrastructure like roads and public schools. More debt means higher interest rates on loans and other finances, and could potentially lead to people having less income rates. We live in a society where many people are unaware about the national debt's impact on our lives and the economy.
How has the national debt affected you and the people around you?
I don't really see any relation between the people around me and the national debt.
I'm really not sure because honestly, we don't really talk about it at home and we're never really taught much about it.
Honestly, I don't know.
Our youth has no real idea why the national debt is important to them because it doesn't really seem to have any effect on their lives. In the world of politics, however, this is a pretty big deal.
We're on track to hit our historical high of debt to GDP ratio. It's right after World War II. In 1946, we were at 106% debt to GDP. We're at 76% this year, but we're on track in just a few short years, depending on your, which assumptions you use between 14 and 22 years. We're going to hit that 106% again and keep going after that. And so we need to manage both of those.
It's literally first grade business. It's so simple. And the end result is it's tougher to get out because they've been so used to making so much money off our country, and we can't let them do that anymore.
Them? Who's them? Other than the money we owe to Americans, a lot of our debt is made up of money we owe to foreign nations, most notably China and Japan. If you ever notice how a lot of products have a Made in China label, that tells you a lot where we get our products nowadays. I mean, China wouldn't have just given us all these commercial goods for free to sell in our own country.
Hey there. So, got my money? Oh, you know what? Just give me till next Friday. I'll have it for you. Oh, that's funny. I could have sworn I said have it today. Yeah, I don't have it. Sorry. Oh, well, all right then.
Our imports and exports of China have been relatively high recently, mostly above $10 billion. That makes up a relatively large chunk of the national debt. So, with all that being said, we know that the national debt is a problem, but is our government going to do anything to solve it? Well, yes and no. Like a lot of problems in politics, there's been a lot of debate on how we should go about tackling this issue. Republicans favor limited government regulation on the economy, which includes not taxing the people to solve the national debt. On the other hand, the Democrats tend to advocate for more government interference in the economy and will tax the people if necessary. Like many things in politics, both parties believe that their method is the superior solution. But despite both parties holding office in the last 8 years, the debt has only increased. To truly find the answer, we need a leader who can tackle the issue and not be burdened by the shackles of a political party or a philosophy that has done nothing but bury their heads in the sand as the rest of the world burns around them. To solve the national debt, why are we doing nothing but dividing the nation? If we continue to fight amongst ourselves, the debt will do nothing but grow bigger. That is why the President, the people of the United States need to unite as one to tackle the debt once and for all. And if we all can come together to tackle an issue that many people don't even know about, then what are the limits of our capabilities and the problems that we could solve worldwide? I can give you an answer to that question. There are none.